Okay, so we're going to draw this ribbon. I've incorporated it into my Illustrator card drawing, but I thought, again, it's kind of one of those fun, practical things that you can, learn a lot in the process of making it. And again, if you haven't figured this out yet, I'm really fond of starting with a circle because, that's the foundation of a lot of stuff that we make. I'm getting rid of the fill. I've just got a stroke here now. So if you start with a circle, I should write a book, just start with a circle. I'm going to get the direct select tool and click on the top anchor point for that circle. In fact, sometimes it's better if you click and drag over that anchor point, then I'm guaranteed to get both of these paths on either side of that top anchor point. I'm going to hit the delete key on the keyboard. All right. So now I've just got the bottom half of that circle. Okay, so check this out. I've got an anchor point down here as well. I'm going to get the scissors tool. The C key on the keyboard is a shortcut, or here it is over here on the left-hand side, right? C for cut. That's how I remember it. So I'm going to click on that anchor point to cut it apart. So now I'm going to get the selection tool, right? The V key is the shortcut for the selection tool to make sure that 1/2 is selected here. And now I'm going to hit the O key on the keyboard to get the reflect tool. O is the shortcut for the reflect tool. And remember, if you Option or Alt click a point anywhere on the page, you can reflect from that point. And so now I've got this like gentle S curve, right? And I'm going to click OK. Now here's the deal. I have to join these two back together. They're still separate. So I hit the A key to get the direct select tool, click and drag a selection window over both points that make up the ends of these two paths. And how do I join them together? What's the shortcut?
Command G.
Close.
Command J.
Oh.
Command J for join. Yes, Command J. You were close. Command G is group. Command J is join. Okay. So now I've got, the top half of my ribbon. So I'm going to hold down the Option or Alt key and drag a copy. In fact, I'm going to hold down Shift also, right? Remember, Alt or Option is the key that copies stuff, and Shift is the key that is the key of perfection. Like if you want to drag it in a perfectly straight line, you hold Shift down. Or if you want to make a perfectly round circle, you hold down Shift. Okay, so I've got a copy. Again, back to the direct select tool, the white arrow. I'm going to click and drag a selection window over those two endpoints. And once again, join them. Command J will join them. Same thing over here. Select both of those anchor points. Command J. Capiche? Now, check this out. I'm going to bring this up here. I'm going to give this a gradient fill. Now, the less than on your keyboard is the shortcut to fill with your gradient. In fact, if you look over here at the bottom of your toolbox, right, here's a color fill, gradient fill, no fill. Remember that? I just hit the less than button to fill that with a gradient. That's the shortcut. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of the stroke. So again, over here, if you look in your toolbox, right now I've got my fill is in front of my stroke. So anything that I do is changing the fill. So if I were to hit the slash key, like the forward, here again, the slash key is what gets rid of a fill. So if I were to hit that with the gradient in front, it's going to get rid of my fill. That's not what I want to do. What I want to do is get rid of the stroke. So over here, I'm going to hit the X key. Now my stroke is in front. So if I hit the slash key, it gets rid of my stroke. Okay. These little shortcuts really speed things up. But once you learn them, you're going to move so much faster, and you're going to use Illustrator in a much more intuitive fashion. So instead of like hunting all over the interface to get the right tool, just remember the shortcut and you'll move so much quicker. All right, so I've got this set up. In fact, I'm going to hit the G key on the keyboard because, oh, and again, what do I have selected? Do I have the fill selected or the stroke? I have the stroke selected. So I need to switch back. I need to hit X again to go back to the fill. Now I can see my gradient information, right? So G is the shortcut for the gradient tool. And remember, like, you can adjust these color stops and their position, or even the midpoint in between. Well, let's say, you know, I want this white instead of white. I want it to be kind of a light gray. So I double click that and it brings up my swatches and I can switch it. Say same thing here. If I don't want that to be absolute black, I just want it to be a dark gray. I can do that there. Okay. All right, so I got my first one set up. Once again, I'm going to reflect this. I'm going to hit the O key on the keyboard, and I'm going to option click where I want it to rotate, like to reflect from. Okay, and I'm doing it along the horizontal axis, which means it's going to put one beneath it, and then I'm going to hit copy because I need a copy of it. Now the trouble is the gradient's going the wrong direction here. So once again, I select that new one, hit the G key, and I'm going to reverse these. I'm going to put this one over here and that one over here. Okay. They got to go, you know, the gradient has to go different directions. All right, and once again, I'm going to hit, well, this time I'm just going to drag a copy. I'm selecting both of these. I'm going to hold down Option and Shift and make copies. I could do that as many times as I needed to. Capiche? Now, Linda earlier got me thinking about smoke. She needs to know how to make smoke. So I thought, hey, we could just take this ribbon and turn it into a ribbon of spiraling smoke if you wanted to. You know, just if you were to put a freeform gradient on this, right, each one of these color stops, you can change the color of it here by double clicking. Or if you go over to the gradient panel over here, you can actually change the opacity of those color stops as well. So like this one at the end, if I wanted to lower its opacity, I could drop it down, you know, to 80%. Each one of these color stops, just again, G key is the shortcut for the gradient tool. Make sure the gradient tool is active. If you've not made a freeform gradient, you know, take a look at my lecture or go look in the book. It'll teach you how to do it. Each one of these little spots here can be a different color, a different radius, a different, you know, opacity. And so that's all I've done here is, you know, made this thing like semi-transparent by adjusting the transparency in the gradient panel. All right, so once again, I can get the reflect tool, option click, make a copy, and then throw a little Gaussian blur at it. Smoke. That may be kind of hard to see.
Cool.
Very
Pretty
cool.
groovy, huh? All right, so once again, start with the circle. Good things happen when you start with the circle,
So
guys.
smart.
All right. Okay, so give it a shot. Try that. Draw a circle, break it apart. Use that reflect tool to make copies and join them back together. Like, see what kind of trouble you can get into. Okay. All right. Good luck.